to the end zone. Touchdown.
Braxton Miller's loose spin move. Miller
In the end zone. Oh, what a catch.
And he's got an opening. Elliott off to the races. Can they catch him?
It's Ohio State together at the mountaintop. Champions of college football.
The Ohio State of Mind podcast, hosted by Josh Keelan and Chris Rick.
Your number one stop for all Buckeye football news.
What's in the box?
A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat.
This is such a crock of shit.
Pooh-ah!
The Ohio State of Mind podcast. Turn it up.
Oh, and welcome to the Ohio State of Mind podcast. It is Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. It is Friday, 5 in the morning, whatever ocean I'm at right now. I am Chris, and if you're wondering at home, no, I am not being held captive. To my left, as always, my hetero life mate, Josh, and if you're wondering, no, he does not work at a Rydell factory. Josh, how are you?
Doing good, man. Literally just got off work, so I'm sure some of my coworkers are going to see this pop up on Facebook. They're going to be like, "That rascal!" No. I stayed until 5.
Is that a pet name, or is that a universal rascal thing with you? Are you just a little rapscallion at work, or are you just a little hooligan?
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure my boss would call me a hooligan. That's the word she would.
So we're taking a break from the year by year recruiting breakdown this week. The big buzz, the hubbub is in a week from today. If you pay the absorbent or the very large $100 price tag, you can play the new College Football 26 early. If you're like the regular Joe, like Josh and I, you have to wait until the 10th of July to play. But it is coming out. It has been very much a big hot topic. Ohio State, after all of these years, finally has somebody on the cover. And no, I'm not going to include the one where had all the players last year. You could see just like Quinshawn Judkins, the back of his helmets. I'm not including that one. You're counting it? So Carson Beck was on it too? Look at you.
You can read his name.
You are. That is true. We notched in the score column, didn't we?
I feel bad for whoever the Notre Dame guy was. Wasn't there a Notre Dame guy too that was like bigger?
There was
more closer than Quinshaw, but they don't have
no name.
Yeah. Or no, it was USC. I'm sorry, because USC doesn't have names on the back. Yeah.
There you go. And again, if you pay that absorbent $100 price tag, you get 3 days early. You get a cover that includes both Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, Brutus the Buckeye, and Ryan Day. I even think Steve Spurrier snuck in there somewhere. I have to look at it again.
Who's on the regular cover? Like when I wait to the 10th. When
you get it on the 10th, you get the regular cover. You just get Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams from Alabama.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Just the dude. Yeah, I give two shits. But we are going to talk some player rankings. We're going to talk some coach likeliness. We've got some good ones on here. We've got some weird ones. I think it's obviously a huge step up. We were always a guy, we always played, and we were, I think you and I both were big advocates even before Madden was NFL Fever. A lot of people would jump in the chat, maybe like, "Oh, I was Tecmo Bowl. I was this. I think we were NFL Fever, my friend. Am I wrong?
We were 100% NFL Fever, dude. We were 100% NFL Fever. That was such a great game. I don't remember who we played as, but we loved NFL Fever. Now, when it comes to the college football game, you had the oldest one. You were the first one to introduce me to the college football video game. It must have been because you had a PlayStation.
Yeah.
It was college football. It might have been the 2K one, but it was. I remember it had to be like 99 because I remember Joe Germain vividly being in it.
Yes, and also caveat back to NFL Fever. I think the main teams that we played against of the time was that prolific Buccaneers defense and that prolific Oakland Raiders offense with Rich Gannon
Dude,
and Tim Brown on it.
Yes. I was just about to say. And James Jett, dude. I had no idea who James Jett was as a real person, but in that video game as a slot receiver, phenomenal. And then remember too, that was like the game would pronounce it. It was like one of the first time they tried to like do like AI, like as far as like pronunciations with the names, where so they would pronounce it Ganon. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Are you like,
so for
yeah,
my dad would be so pissed. He'd be like, "It's not Ganon. It's not Ganon." I'm like, dude, that's what they say. That's what they say. That game was cool though, man, because like remember too, like they would also pronounce the fake guys. Like we would be 30 years into it. And I remember there was a guy named Mikado, and the announcers would say, like, I don't think they do that now. So
I will also say that we're maybe some trendsetters. We were on the bottom floor. Maybe we were the first low boys to get to hear some Pharrell Williams when he was with NERD Nerd. Remember? It's almost over now. It's yeah, I remember that. Yeah. But we're gonna talk. Yeah, we're gonna look at some of these coaches, their likeliness, a little side by sides. We're gonna go ahead and look at the top 10 rated Buckeyes, and I've also went ahead and pulled the top 10 rated players in the Big Ten. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna both talk about a discrepancy within the Ohio State roster that I was very much confused about. I know you're on your edge of your seat. We're going to get there in a minute because I think it was a fudge up by NCAA football. Maybe it was a leak that went wrong, or maybe a player opted out. So we're going to get to that here momentarily. But coach likeliness, I'm going to put up 5. We're going to give him a scale of 1 to 10, Josh. Okay, and here we go.
Very excited.
Okay, top left, old Lane Kiffin. Old Daniel Tosh up there. I don't think it's bad. I'll give it 8 out of 10 on this one, my friend.
Really? You think? I think that it looks like a young, hotter version of him, dude.
Right? A little sexier?
I feel like
Matt girlfriend is.
Yeah, like if they're trying to make guys hotter, fine. Right, but they didn't do that for James Franklin. James Franklin looks like you remember the movie Santa Claus, where they had the sequel where Tim Allen has like a clone that's like made of plastic or whatever.
Oh, nice pull.
That's what he looks like, right? Yeah, nice thank you. And then Matt Rule, they did try to make him less fat, so that I do appreciate that for good old Coach Rule.
They did slim him down, and they did make him less fat, and I looked into some of the patch notes that were released, ahead of college football 26. If you were to create your own coach, you have more options when it comes to creating a coach. It's not just sweater vests, and it's not just, the basic windbreaker. But my only question is, I've never been able to put my finger on this one. You never get a coach that actually has a headset on. None of them.
So is that happening this year?
I don't know, but I'd like to see it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and docket points for my coach not having a headset. Maybe they're wireless.
No, I wouldn't. I don't. But to answer your question, I'll give Lane Kiffin his likeness is 6.9.
6.9. I like that. I like that one already. Spicy on a Thursday night, Friday morning. Matt Rule does look slimmed down. Matt Rule, you can tell it's Matt Rule. I'll give Matt a nice 8.5 there, but they have slimmed him down. I haven't seen him though this season. Maybe he has.
I liked the Matt Rule too. I think that's pretty damn close. Dan Lanning, man, I feel like out of all these, he's probably the least one. Like he looks the most like someone you would just create by accident. So let's give him a 4. I know he kind of looks like that in person, where he just looks like a basic dude you see walk around the mall, but still, like, I don't know. There's got to be something they could have done.
I want to see if I can, we're in this realm of we want all these new features and this and that. Can I jump in the pool on signing day with Dan Lanning?
Can I sleep over with Jim Harbaugh?
Right? Can we have a treehouse sleepover?
Are they going to bring back? Now that we have this capability, I hope they bring back because coaches from past. Like I want to see a Ralph Friedgen now. You know what I mean? Remember how fat that guy was? It Ralph Friedgen?
Yeah.
Or no? Was
No,
it the coach for Kansas was fat too?
Oh
right?
yeah, dude, with the glasses, big old dude.
What was that guy's name? Yeah. Someone's
You're
gonna tear
close.
something.
You're in the ballpark on that one.
Ralph Friedgen was fat too, and then the Kansas coach, I think his last name started with an M.
He was like a Mangione or some shit.
Mangino.
That's right.
Yeah,
No,
dude, I think it's Mangino, right? Mark Mangino. Yeah, dude, that's who I want to see. Please look up the first fucking photo of Mark Mangino. It is Biff Poggi's kid's going to be on the game team?
That's what I'm saying. Well, they said that, hey, there are 300 coaches in the game. So let's keep our fingers crossed for Biff Poggi. If not, I'm sure you and I will draft a very heavy-worded letter to College Football 26.
Oh, if I don't see Biff Poggi tits on my goddamn 75-inch screen on July 10th, I'm gonna be pissed. They should give him the cutoff and then the side move. That's all I ask.
Cutoff, side move, and I like the one games when it's really hot and he's got the sleeves tattered and knotted at the end and they're like little tassels. Yeah, dude, without question.
Yes,
without question.
He's got it tied up like a high school chick.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Like his little bullshit shit you make on Spirit Day. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Spirit Day.
That's exactly
how
what
realistic
it
is this game going to be? Are we going to see him on the sidelines in the background, like taking a towel for a tit sweat?
But after he does his interview with Kelly on the sidelines, goes into halftime and just starts ripping butts. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We should create a video game where everything is super fucking pixelated, except for like the fat coaches. Like they're just like the most.
Yeah.
So
it's just like a Minecraft football and the coaches.
Yeah. Except for the fattest ones. Be like, why did they spend so much time on Ralph Friedgen?
I love their level of dedication here is astonishing.
Yeah. Anyways,
James Franklin, you're right. James Franklin looks a little kind of generic AI. He's like almost like a custom build, but they threw the Nittany line on the front of him, so you're like, okay, it's James Franklin.
Yeah, and then what's up with that gray? Like he's not. I mean, it's more like salt and pepper, right? It's not like just boom, sand plus gray, right? White.
Yeah, James Franklin's a little out there. We've also got Dabo Sweeney. Dabo Sweeney is looking a little generic too. He's looking a little fat in the face.
But isn't that kind of how he looks? I tell you what, Sarkisian has got the best.
Sarkisian's good. And you know what? Also, we're sitting here talking about things we want. I want Coach Audio next year. I want a bunch of dadgummits from Dabo Sweeney. Yeah. Because you know the Howard's Rocks in there and all that shit, you know. Marcus Freeman's a little head scratcher too. Marcus Freeman's another one that looks a little thick in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's a good looking guy. He's a good looking. Yeah. He did not get the lane train treatment there. And then Ryan Day looks like Eminem.
I can see that.
Right?
Yeah, you know, Eminem does have that dark facial hair now, doesn't he?
Dark beard, yeah. He definitely dyes it. That's not gonna this likeness is not gonna help that conspiracy theory about Ryan Day darkening.
I like how 25 it starts showing the players' names. Yeah, players now they get a $300 and a copy of the game, and that's we've got no more playing throwing the ball to wide receiver number 4. We get to throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
No, I think Kirby Smart's dead on. I'm with Kirby Smart. I think Sarkisian and Smart dead on.
It's pretty good. It looks like they thinned him up though. It looks like they thinned up Kirby too. I don't know why I'm noticing a trend here with these SEC coaches, but already, dude, the bias is starting.
Well,
so far, I've wanted to have sex with all the SEC coaches. No one else.
If Kirby's starting to look a little gaunt in the face, I'm going to say it's probably just because of all of the vehicular incidents on campus. You'll see him become more gaunt as the season begun. Escalates.
There you go. Yeah.
Are we going to get that this year? Because remember, it's like, hey, we want to invite you out to a party. Would you like to break curfew? They're like, hey, there's a street racing event on 32nd in Maine. Do you want to attend? Like, can we do that?
Could you like to commit vehicular homicide?
Right. Like,
oh
sounds
no,
dicey.
you in the house.
You're going to take a -2 to your spin move this week.
Yeah. Jennifer wants to give you roadhead. Do you accept? Oh no, you lost control like that Stephen King movie.
You've now become thinner.
Yeah, you lost 20 pounds for the game.
You -4 to fatigue and wear and tear. I assume you've got the Buckeye rankings in front of you, but I think it's a no-brainer. Who do you think the top 2 Buckeyes are rated in college football 26, my friend?
Can I tell you that I'm kind of shocked that Jeremiah I'm kind of shocked that Jeremiah Smith was ranked as high as he was. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I just know, like, I don't know how to say this. We talked about a little bit on last year's show. We talked about a little bit. So there's other factors that go into these rating systems other than just, hey, is that player good, right? Like, you're trying to the goal. You have an idea of what the rating is for the entire team, and then you're trying to manipulate the players to fit that. I'm kind of surprised that you made a true sophomore that high, because there's also not a whole lot to go. Up, if that makes it, like, he's the highest. What?
You're good.
You there?
Yep, I got you.
But he's the highest rated player in the game, right?
He is the highest rated player in the game. He's also obviously the highest rated offensive player in the game. The Buckeyes also have the highest rated defensive player in the game. Your thoughts?
But that makes sense. Caleb Downs makes sense.
Okay.
He's dominated college football for 2 years now. And Jeremiah Smith is great too. David writes in Smith should be a 99 club. It's like, well, but I don't know. That just feels really. He should definitely be in the 90s. It's just to make him a 98 just feels. I guess I don't have an issue.
You don't have an issue, but you're also you're also thinking of the sample size as well. I understand that.
Yeah, it's like you're setting a precedent too, where it's like, okay, well, how easy, if you just come in and dominate 1 year, because that would never fly in Madden, right? If you just dominate, like Jaden Daniels isn't a 99, you know what I mean?
No.
But maybe it's got a shorter leash because you're only in college for 3 years. I guess that makes sense. I can
see it for longevity as well. Yeah.
I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. I guess that's fine. I was a little shocked. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying he's not the best. I was just a tiny bit shocked.
Okay. Well, we're going to look at the top 10 Buckeyes. Top 10 Buckeyes are as follows. We got Jeremiah Smith, the number 1 rated player in the game. He's a 98, followed by Caleb Downs, a 96. I do think it's a little eye-opening to see that the top 2, there's the disparity of 2 whole points of 98 to 96. We've got a total of 6 Buckeyes that cracked 90 or above. Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, a 91. I think this has got to be the first time we've played a college football game with 2 Ohio State receivers in the 90s. Carnell Tate in there as a 91, and also a 91, Max Clare, tight end. So you've got 3 receiving options on that Buckeye offense, 90 or above. You got Smith, you got Tate, you got Max Clare.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I agree with all those so far.
Wholeheartedly.
I believe all those guys should be in the 90s so far. I don't have an issue with that.
You've got our starting cornerback at David Igbinosun as a 90, as well as our right outside linebacker Sonny Styles is a 90. Your thoughts on Sonny Styles being a 90?
Deserved. Well deserved.
Okay.
I think that Styles and Igbinosun need to be in the 90s. I was actually shocked by how low Jermaine Matthews was too. That's another guy that I thought deserved to be in the 90s. I mean, this is a guy that came in basically. They put him in over Denzel Burke and Jordan Hancock, who were both drafted. So he's pretty good. You know what I mean?
No, there's definitely going to be, you play the season. Throughout the season, your players progress or regress. He's going to be a 90 in a couple of weeks. You play with him. Let's be real.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I'm nitpicking at that point. On the other side of the spectrum, though, I believe I'm surprised James Peoples was that high. I would have put C.J. Donaldson over him. I know that's probably not how the depth chart is going to play out.
I agree.
C.J. Donaldson,
I agree.
More experienced, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So.
I was.
Go on. I'm sorry.
No, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I just think of the as many carries and touchdowns and whatnot with C.J. Donaldson was going to put him a point above James Peoples, but seeing James Peoples in the game just on face value, hey, the game's already won. Here's James Peoples scored 4 or 5 touchdowns last year. I can understand it, but I did assume that C.J. Donaldson maybe a point above James Peoples, but obviously the James Peoples train is very hype. The running back out of Texas,
Yeah, it is what it is. The other one, I'm surprised by how high Julian Sand is too. This is a guy who hasn't played any meaningful football, so that's pretty high for a guy that's got 0 starts under his belt. 85. I mean, he's got to be in the top 15 highest rated quarterbacks in the entire game, right?
Definitely, no, absolutely. And the one head scratcher, you and I both have the same list in front of us. If you look at the Ohio State players, right beneath Jermaine Matthews, I didn't put him on this list because I don't know if it's a fudge up on college football's side, if it's a player who opted out, but there is a Jason Ball, Jayson Ball. He is a halfback, number 38, and he's rated an 87. Is that a fudge up on college football?
Yeah, dude, for sure. Well, I don't know if it's a fudge up on the video game or this guy's list, but that guy doesn't exist. There's a couple other issues too.
Yeah,
Caleb Gaffney. Who the fuck is Caleb Gaffney?
Yeah, there's yes, a couple of head scratchers on there. Nice to see Arvell, and they've got the number change as well. Arvell Reese, number 8, he is coming in at 85. That's a nice little centerpiece for your linebacking core. Bo Atkinson, newcomer from North Carolina, 85. Not bad. Kenyatta Jackson, 84. Like to see it. You've got 2 tight ends right behind Max Clare, both 82s. You got both Jelani Thurman and Will Kazmarek, both at an 82. Caden Curry breaks
kind of shocked by that.
Okay.
Kind of shocked that those. First of all, I'm shocked Oninawa is only rated at 85. Right, like that. That to me is not. I'm not saying it's like wrong. I'm just thinking like he was kind of a big get in the transfer portal, got a lot of hype.
Right.
You would think that he'd probably be in the 90s. I don't know about the 90s, but you would think he'd be closer to 88, 89. Now you'd be right on the verge, right? He was just a big get. But yeah, I think that Kazmarek is I don't think there's a huge gap, but I think that there is a gap. Whether it's Kazmarek and 85 and then Jelani and 80, I think that there is a gap there, right?
No, I think there is a gap, and to see us praising this young man as much as we have in the towards the end of the season in the off season, but nice to see Edric Houston at 85. How about that?
Yeah, that's probably about right. It's hard with him because he's going to be an impact guy. You also, again, they have to make Ohio State good. So some of the guys that haven't played, you have to rate them high just based off of trying to make that overall Ohio State number of 90 or whatever the case may be, right? Because they take the averages of all the stars. Of course, that's how they did it last year. My understanding is that they might have changed that this year, but they took this to get those overall ratings. They took the average of all 22 starters or whatever, 11 starters,
right?
Whatever.
No, I'm completely in agreement there.
But I think that they might have changed that because someone told me that Madden didn't do that. Madden did it where like if your quarterback was rated 99. That was worth more than if you had a guard worth 99, which I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not. We should probably have somebody on the show that does know. But
no, I would wholeheartedly agree with you. Those are our Buckeyes. Now we're going to talk Big Ten here for a moment. Who do you think, other than Jeremiah Smith, who's the next guy? Who's the next guy in the Big Ten, highest rated? Who do you think?
Well, but before we move on to that, can I also say that I'm also surprised Keenholz is the same rating as St. Clair? Aren't you surprised by that too?
I didn't even bother to look there. Good call. Quarterbacks as an average, though. So we're talking 85, 80 and 80, Keenholz and St. Clair. So 80, 80, and 85, that puts the quarterback group as an average of an 82. I am surprised. Good call. Good
Yeah,
pick.
because he's actually played. He's played meaningful snaps.
And Tavian St. Clair being
I just feel
the
like-
speedier quarterback of all of them with a speed of 88.
Yeah.
You're going to have
Very
some
interesting.
people that are going to play as the Buckeyes. And they're going to want to get their quarterbacks around the corner. There's your viable option there.
Yep. Kind
There's your viable
of surprised by Malik Hartford and Lorenzo Styles being ranked so low. They're both 79s.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
No. Moving on. Big Ten as a whole. Obviously, we got Jeremiah Smith. We got Caleb Downs. Nick Singleton, running back from Penn State, 93. I'm not going to bat an eye about that. But it is a big jump. It is a big jump from 98 Jeremiah Smith to 93 Nate Singleton.
You would. Again, I'm not going to nitpick, but you would think that Singleton would be ranked higher than 93. But whatever, to each their own, I suppose.
Yeah. Transfer from Purdue, going over to Eugene, Dylan Thieneman, that strong safety. I've totally forgot that he transferred, but super smart move on his part. A 93 as well. A receiver that we both thought was an absolute stud last year. Lit our Fantrax Big Ten football draft on fire. Elijah Surratt at a 93. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him, 93.
Yep. He was really good last year for sure. Really good year before James Madison too.
Absolutely, he's going to be a focal point of their offense for the Huskies. Jonah Coleman, 93 as well, running back. I like that little short guy, a little short bowling ball of a running back.
That should be a fun team to play with too, because you're going to have Damon Wilson. Is that his name?
Yes,
quarterback, the young freshman quarterback who, he outplayed Will Rogers. He can move around. He's very excited. He's very athletic, right? And then they got him. I would assume Denzel Boston would have a high rating. I would assume that's another real fun receiver. But yeah, Washington should be another fun team.
No, I would agree. First Big Ten quarterback, highest rated Big Ten quarterback. We've got Drew Aller, Penn State. I'm not going to bat an eye at that one, right?
No, like I said, I think I would honestly have assumed he was going to be higher. I mean, he's by far and away the best quarterback in the Big Ten on the field.
I was anticipating a 95 out of Drew Aller.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Running back out of Oregon, we got Mekhi Hughes. Now, did we see Mekhi Hughes take any meaningful snaps last year?
Well, he played with Tulane.
That's what it is.
Yeah, he was an absolute stud. I would have Mekhi Hughes rated higher than Jonah Coleman, but the rules.
I mean, we got 1 point of discrepancy here. So
I think that some of that too is to balance it out because Oregon, you can't have how many guys at Oregon can you have 93, 94? You know what I mean? Because I'm assuming Evan Stewart's also ranked extremely high as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and of course we received the news that he's going to miss the majority, if not all, of the season this year too. So it'd be interesting to see if he makes. Yeah, no, good point. Let's see if he's on that roster. I'm gonna let you take this next guy's name. Go ahead.
Oh, dude, Ione is. I'm not gonna say the first name. That's probably about right. He's all. I think he was all Big Ten last year. I don't know. It's all right. He's probably the best offensive lineman on their team, so I guess that's fair, right?
Okay. No, I'm with it. And a game that we've both talked about as a watch yourself. Make sure you don't catch yourself sleeping, especially as we play on the road this year. Gabe Jacas, Illinois, outside linebacker.
Yeah, I think that might be one. I like him. He's good. I like Illinois. We're going to talk about our predictions next week. But that one might be he might be a little bit juiced to make Illinois' overall higher. You know what I mean? But that's fair. Illinois, he's tough guy. There's a couple people that I'm surprised weren't here. Tacario Davis, I noticed he wasn't on your list. Defensive back just transferred to Washington from Arizona. That's a borderline first round pick. Mikhail Kamara, the defensive end that led the Big Ten in sacks last year from Indiana. That's all we heard all year long was how great he was. So I thought he'd be up here. Eli Sanders, the running back transfer to USC from New Mexico. He had a really, really productive season last year. And he's transferring to USC. So USC is always I don't know. I thought he was going to get a pretty meaningful boost as well because I thought he was going to carry the USC rating because there's not a lot left there.
Right.
I thought Katron Allen would be higher. I don't think there's a huge gap between Katron Allen. I think Katron Allen's better than Jonah Coleman, so I'm kind of shocked by that.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I'm surprised that neither Evan Stewart nor Denzel Boston are higher on this list, but there's only I think both those guys are better than Elijah Surratt. So I'm kind of shocked by that.
Okay. We were talking about Lincoln Keyholes being an 80. We're talking about Tavian St. Clair being an 80. Julian Saint an 85. You're looking at the Big Ten across the board. You've also got Dylan Raiola just an 87. You think it's right for him?
That's probably right. Dude, Dylan Raiola is weird because like I keep expecting him to be – we're going to talk about him next week too because I got some dollar bills relying on him to take another step further. But he was really – I mean, Nebraska was in a lot of games last year, a lot of close games, and he didn't help them at all. They were not in those games because of him. I'm hoping that he can wrangle in that consistency and be better this year. He has all the physical talent. I mean, I texted you before the game when they played Nebraska last year. He's big, he's strong, got a big arm. He's he lost some weight this year too, so that should be help because he did have some baby fat on him, so that should help him. And he's got a big arm, but he's pretty much the reason Nebraska lost to Ohio State. I think he just doesn't. He doesn't take what's given to him. Like Dylan Gabriel, what makes him such a pain in the ass is because he takes what you give him. Dylan was like, he's hunting, he's big play hunting. So
yeah, to look at that Iowa train as well. You got Luke Altmaier returning at an 89. Like that. I like that for him.
Yeah, Luke Altmaier's good. It's hard to kind of gauge how good he is too, rating wise. I don't have an issue with that. He's probably dancing with the 90s because he is. I mean, after Drew Aller, he's probably the second best Big Ten quarterback, given the amount of work, right? The most experienced and pretty good experience as well, right? Pretty effective. And he's gotten better every year. He's not like a game changer. He's not Justin Fields, but he's probably similar to Will Howard, right? He's not might not win you the game, but he's going to do what he can to get you to the next. He's just all right. He's very solid. So that's probably about what he's right?
He's a facilitator and he's a guy who can make plays when the game's on the line and keep you in a ball game. Yeah, no, I'm wholeheartedly with it.
Yeah.
Those are our big. It's the breaking out of our Ohio State players, Big Ten players. Next week we're going to have a little bit longer of an episode, a little short one this week. But we want to make sure we got out to you, each and every one of y'all that jumped on. We appreciate it. We're gonna have a longer episode next week. We're gonna talk about our Big Ten predictions. We're gonna look at wins. We're gonna give our teams. We're gonna go. What avenue are we going off of here, Josh, for next week?
So you want to do alphabetical? We'll just knock it out alphabetical. We'll go as far as we can until we hit that 45-minute mark, and then shut it down.
That's fine.
And then we'll pick up the week after week.
Yeah, we can do that, man. I'm absolutely with it. But we're getting closer and closer to the start of college football, and I know we're both getting excited. We're gonna look at this season outlook, and we're gonna predict some win tallies for all these Big Ten teams.
Yes, and we'll do what we did last year. We'll give our predictions. We'll give you the draft kit. We'll use DraftKings. We'll give the season win total, and then we'll go schedule. We'll go through the schedule, and you and I will say win or loss or 50-50 game, and then at the end we'll kind of get a tally and figure out where we're at as far as over or under that win total. And like I was telling Chris before the show, I had pretty good success last year, going 11-7 with all the Big Ten teams. Unfortunately, when I told you guys, hey, I'm putting money on this, I was 3-3 on those. So, or was it 6-6? Whatever. I was 500. So, yeah, but that'll be fun. It's always a good episode.
I'm with it. No, it's going to be good. It's getting us ramped into the upcoming season. It's getting us talking about relevant football, and I'm all for it, my friend.
I'm a little upset that Mike's not going to be with us because he wanted to suck Washington's dick so hard on that episode last year. Anybody who goes back and listens to it, and I was really looking forward because I knew as soon as I knew you were commenting.
Yeah.
And we were all like, dude, Washington is going to fucking blow. So, like, as the episode's going on, I'm like, I cannot wait to rub his fucking face. And he was so sure they were going to be like a top 3 team in the Big Ten. I was like, bro, they fucking suck, dude. They lost everybody, man.
We're gonna delve into it next week. I am excited. I love talking about the upcoming football season. I feel like a schoolgirl again. here we go.
Yeah, man.
We're only a month and some change away, so we're going to talk Big Ten outlook. We're going to start looking at positional rankings inside the Big Ten, and blink and you know it, we're going to start talking about Ohio State, Texas. So I'm excited, my friend.
Yeah. Before we shut it down, do you have any quick thoughts on Michigan getting Jake Garcia in the transfer portal in the spring? Does that mean are they getting uncomfortable with Bryce Underwood?
I did want to bring that up, and I totally forgot because obviously my news is so delayed being over here. It was something I was gonna bring that up. I was also gonna bring it. I didn't want to bring up the Kurt. You hit me up at 2 a.m. about Kurt Barton. What a mugshot! But no, I did think that was wow. That is now the second transfer quarterback that Michigan has brought in this offseason.
Yeah, Mikey Keene makes sense. They brought in Mikey Keene. Pretty much, my understanding was that negotiations pretty much went down before he knew Bryce Underwood was going to be here, and they're going to give him a legit shot. Mikey Keene's good. Mikey Keene was at Fresno State last year, so it is what it is. But then they went out and got Jake Garcia too. Jake Garcia blows, so I'm sure that they're not bringing him in to start. This is a guy who sucked at South Carolina. He sucked at East Carolina, and then he sucked at Missouri too. Where else did he suck at, Chris? You
got corner of 7-Eleven. Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, it is surprising. We're gonna have a little bit more time next week. We're already gonna we're gonna throw in some relevant college football news around the horn as well. But make sure you log back in next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. We're gonna talk about Big Ten wins. We're gonna talk about some relevant college football news and any and everything you guys drop in the comments. Of course, we appreciate you. We will be back next week, 5 p.m. Eastern. As always, this is the Ohio State of Mind podcast. I'm Chris. You can find me at CRunning15 on X. Josh?
Yeah, man. Follow me on X at Josh Keatley16. The DMs are always open. David, we appreciate you logging on. You guys got any concerns or anything you want us to talk about, let us know. We are open books, and we're willing to talk about anything. Also, big shout out to Mayan Williams. Looking like he's going to have a pretty solid season up north in the CFL. So definitely monitor that, guys.
Very nice. Nice Myron Williams pool. But we will see you guys next week, 5 p.m. Eastern. As always, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.